Mrs. Claus, this one's for you. Tell me, sweet mama, what's a guy to do? I'm tired of pretending it's just who I am. Come on, Mrs. Claus, let me be your man. I'll quit shaving, wear a cap on my head, buy matching robes all shiny and red. I'm begging you, please, I'll do all that I can. Come on, Mrs. Claus, let me be your man. And ever since I was a little boy, I never cared much for all those toys. You've always been the one for me, my beautiful angel on top of the tree.
This is my Christmas morning surprise. Look, he bought the fencing and he installed it and he surprised me. I am so excited. He knows this is something that I have been worried about, stressed about. I've wanted to get the goats moved. And I think it looks great, honestly. Like, it's gonna be wonderful that we can move it. Comes all the way up here to the barn. Oh my goodness, I love it. I love it. I'm out checking on everybody and that cold wind is here. I moved the goats' hay feeder on top of their shelter so their shelter doesn't blow around. And they've got their hay to eat in there. Hi, babies. Everything's holding up okay. The pigs are being pigs, and look at Peanut. She's just out walking around. Everybody else is put up. Look at the sky. The wind is wild. Really wild. I don't have any leaves left on the trees. There's one falling. Good night. I can hear it when it starts coming through the trees over there. Before it gets here. Whew. And there it comes. They just came running. Are y'all excited for your grain this morning? Oh, move some stuff around. All right. Come on, Willow. You eat up here. Some minerals. All right, Willow, you're eating over here too, huh? That's not what's happening. My goodness, y'all. There's a whole feeder up here. Up there. Look at her. She doesn't want them to eat anywhere. Look, Willow, come on. Come on. Here. Whole feeder of food. I stood up here with her yesterday and made her eat up here. I hadn't considered tying her where she needs to eat from. That might actually be a solution. Oh, that wind. It is biting. Seriously biting. They've got warm water out. You got warm water, girl. And I got fresh hay. They did great last night. Look at Miss Piggy. Are you Miss Piggy over here? I think you are. Yes. Miss Honey, you're the little piggy. I don't think Willow can decide what she wants to do. She's shivering. She's about to tinkle. Is that what you're about to do? Huh? No? You don't know? You're standing in the sun. Okay. I feel ya. Chickens are great. I even got eggs this morning. I want to show you the ducks and geese though. I have on a fuzzy hat because I don't have a work hat yet. I pretty much run one every cold season or lose it. Just not good on my part. But y'all, the ducks and the geese are living their best life. Look at this. This is their weather. They love this weather. And the pond is warmer than the air. Look how beautiful they are. They're so pretty. Look, oh, ice cream's gotta come tell me about it. He's coming to warn me. I know. I'm not gonna mess with you. Ducks are made for this cold weather. They're down, and the oil that they put on their feathers, their skin, it's super thick scales. They're made for this. Well, you don't have to worry about frostbite with them unless there's like a major wind chill, which we just really don't have. We're not in the negatives. We're close to our high, which is around 20 degrees today. And then by next Monday and Tuesday, it's going to be in the 60s, or next Tuesday and Wednesday. Monday's still cold, but that's just wild. But the ducks love it. There's some actually sleeping on the pond. They got their heads tucked in and they're sleeping. Everybody else is playing in the pond. In this weather, everybody still needs feed. Everybody still needs water. And if I don't collect eggs, they'll freeze and bust. And so I want to collect eggs. I don't want to waste them. Going in with the silkies. And the pigeons. Here are my eggs for today in my random dirty bucket. Still a pretty good egg haul, considering it's Christmas morning. I'm still in my jammies, but I got my coat on. And I got a big surprise. So Zach, after we said we were gonna do Premier One fencing, and we did a video about it, he said, I don't know if I wanna do that or not. It's gonna be expensive. I'm just not sure. And y'all, he faked me off. Look at this. This is my Christmas morning surprise. Look. He bought the fencing and he installed it and he surprised me. I am so excited. He knows this is something that I have been worried about, stressed about. I've wanted to get the goats moved. And I think it looks great, honestly. Like, it's gonna be wonderful that we can move it. Comes all the way up here to the barn. Oh my goodness, I love it. I love it. Good morning, goats. It is a frozen morning and they are doing great. Look at them. Hey, goaties. Yeah. I hope the garden has made it. Look who's on the pond. The duckies, of course. They're on the pond, and look at the pond. It's frozen. It's got a little bit of ice on top. Not all of it is frozen. It's probably about to thaw with the sun coming out. But look at that. That's the first time that's ever happened since we've lived here.
We have had such a great Christmas weekend here on the farm, and even the week leading up to Christmas. And now, let's see, this will be going out on the third day of Christmas. And so we hope that you're enjoying this Christmas season as much as we are. Unfortunately, even though we had such an awesome Christmas, Jacqueline and I caught the crud. At some point during this week, we caught the crud. We're feeling down and out today. Jacqueline's got it worse than I do. So I'm out here taking care of chores. It is our last day where it's supposed to get below freezing for a while. So I'm just trying to get everybody taken care of. Probably going to go ahead and let all of the chickens out. They've been up for 4 days now, so that they wouldn't get frostbite or get too cold. So I'm going to do that, let all the birds go out so that they can be free ranging again. That's how we prefer it. But here in the next couple of weeks, we're going to be putting them all into breeding runs, or most of them into breeding runs, to separate them into breeding groups so that we can start selling our hatching eggs and our chicks again. We won't be shipping chicks or hatching eggs to anywhere where it's supposed to get too cold over the next couple of months. But everybody in the continental U.S. should be able to order those if they want to in another 2 or 3 months. So keep an eye out for that. We'll let you know how that goes. But the pre-orders for those things should be up on our website here in the next couple of weeks. So watch out for that announcement. Alrighty, let's let some birds out. I know they are excited to get out. Hello there. Did y'all have a good time? They're like, nope, we're ready to go. Yep. That's the way we try and keep it around here. We like for them to be as free range as possible. So you can see we got Rusty here hanging out with some of our ladies, and then Goat here. Goat and Rusty must have gotten along okay because they were in there for 4 days together, and they don't seem like they're too busted up. Let's see who we got in here this morning. Oh yeah, the Orpington sisters here, and can't remember what that big fella's name is, but he was the only rooster in with them. He's already chasing another rooster. Yep, alrighty, and we got one more breeding run. Now these are the breeding runs that I made a while back, that are, I think, like 10 feet by 4 feet maybe. And so these are made for smaller groups of chickens, probably a group of 4, maybe 5. So one rooster and then some hens. Yep, they went straight for the water over there. Knew they would. So, alrighty, we got these birdies out, ready to free range. And now I'm going to go down and check on everybody else. So we made a big addition here on the farm over the Christmas break. This past weekend, Santa came and brought with him some Premier One electric net fencing, which is perfect for the project we've been working on to get the goats out onto a bigger pasture area and to get them housed in the barn before we have any more really cold weather. This really cold stretch kind of snuck up on us, so we didn't get to get them in the barn before that, but they did really well out there in that structure, that shelter that we built out for them just before it got really cold. But we are so excited to have this Premier One netting put in. We got I think it's called Electro Stop, and I read that it is rated to keep bears away from honey, from beehives, and also coyotes were specifically mentioned in the information, and that is kind of what we've been most afraid of since we haven't been seeing dogs roaming anymore. We've been concerned about coyotes, And so this will help us with that issue, keeping our goats safe. And we're also going to be putting at least one group that typically free ranges, one breeding group up here in this area with the goats, so that maybe we can kind of contain them with the fence. We're going to try that out and see if it works. If not, it'll be all right. We'll just have to keep them in one of the bigger runs for the breeding season. But we're excited to give it a shot and very excited for this fencing. Look who just showed up. Eleanor's out here. I'll have to get her mic'd up in just a second so y'all can hear her. Eleanor just asked if this is on. I don't know, touch it. I'm just kidding. It's definitely not on. So I've still got to put some grounding rods into the barn, or close to the barn, because we are going to use an AC/DC charger for the electric fence. So it won't run on solar, the netting won't right now. Instead, since we're coming out of the barn, it'll make it easier for us to turn off and on the fence if it's electric coming off of the barn. So that's what we're going to do. So I've still got to get some grounding rods in the ground back there so that we can set the charger up. That's why it's not electrified yet. But we don't have the goats out here yet, so we're not really all that worried about it. But we had to get this up to surprise Jacqueline on Christmas morning. It was her big Christmas present. And whew, this crud is getting to me. I had to take my jacket off. Y'all might have noticed Eleanor didn't have a jacket on when she was out here, but I asked her, I said, when she came out, I said, how many shirts do you have on? She said, Daddy, I've got on 4 short shirts. And that top, the fuzzy one is super warm that was under her little t-shirt. So don't worry, she was plenty warm. And I asked her about her pants too. She said she had on 3 pairs of sweatpants. So she was more than warm enough, and it's not below freezing today or anything. So she's good, and she had her hat on to protect her ears, so not too worried about that. And she's already gone back in, not because of the cold, but just because she was bored from hanging out with me when she's got all these new Christmas presents to play with. Can't blame her there. So, but I did want to show y'all, the garden is still covered up, still tucked in. I'm going to leave this hay down for the next couple of days at least, before I peek underneath and see how we did. I would probably be okay taking enough of it off to see if our onions are still green, the tops of those onions, especially our green onions over there. I went ahead and covered up the tatsoi that I had going over here, as well as the lettuce and collard greens. But to be honest, they were so young that I just don't think they were established enough to make it through there. So not super hopeful about this half of the garden. But the onions and garlic, I'm pretty hopeful about. I'm cautiously optimistic on that. I think that covering them up was probably enough to get them through. I've got my fingers crossed anyways, so hopefully that'll work. And we'll keep you updated as we go through and undo that. I'm telling y'all, the goats made it through all this mess really well. We were super worried, and of course we took extra care of the goats, but they made it through the absolute best from what I can tell. So really proud of how the goats did. Willow here is being a good mother figure to everybody. They all snuggled up in there at night and did just fine. And we've been doing extra hay. There's hay outside and hay in a bucket inside for them to eat. And then of course lots of hay back on their bed back there. And they've got a water dish inside there that I've been filling up with hot water a couple times a day. Or we have, I should say. Jacqueline and I have kind of traded off some on that. But Jacqueline was the hero of the whole situation starting out. She made sure that everybody had enough hay, and made sure that there were water bowls that could be filled up, and she's the one that started doing the hot water, and did that for the first couple of days. And I made sure that, you know, all the plastic was up and everything, but overall, Jacqueline saved the day. But I hate that she's feeling as sick as she is, and like I said, I'm starting to feel this crud a little bit more. So today may be a little bit shorter of a hangout with everybody, but I hope y'all will excuse us for that as we try and get rid of this crud. Hopefully we'll get rid of it in the next couple days. We do have New Year's plans this weekend that we really want to be well enough to not only feel well enough to go, but to make sure that we aren't contagious or anything, because it does involve other folks that we love very much and wouldn't want to get them sick. I'm pretty confident that we'll be doing a whole lot better in the next couple of days, but we will make sure we've had all the proper tests done to make sure that we didn't have any of the big time crud, if you know what I mean. I don't think it's anything like that. I think it's probably just a sinus infection or something like that, but man, it is hitting us. But I am gonna go ahead and oh, y'all, check this out. These chickens are so happy to be back out after being cooped up. Are you super happy to be back out? He for sure is. And then these chickens over here on the property line, our neighbors back here let us know that they were missing seeing the chickens. So I'm sure that these chickens will be headed over. They like to just go just over the property line and eat the bugs that are on the ground over here. So the neighbors will get to see the chickens again the next couple days. I know they'll be happy for that. We tell them all the time, let us know if the chickens ever bother you, and we'll make sure that we keep them cooped up more, but they like to see them out there. And I know that the chickens do a good job of pest control. A while back, our pest control company came out and did a treatment around the inside of the house, and they were checking out the backyard, and the lady came up to Jacqueline and said, y'all don't have any bug activity in your backyard. And it's definitely because of those chickens. It's not like that in the front yard where the chickens don't go. So we know that those chickens are good at pest control, and we are very thankful for it. Oh man. Whew. Well, I'm sure glad it is not as cold today as it has been. We're up in the mid 40s today. We've been down below 20 a few days this week, with wind chills in the single digits. So we are, and that's during the day. At night, the wind chill gets down below 0, and that's not something we are used to here in Alabama. But I know I'm happy that it's not as cold. I know these birds are happy that it's not as cold. I'm happy to see them out and enjoying the farm today. And I'm going to enjoy it for just a little bit longer.
Good morning. Hey, duckies.